Most people do not get hurt at the beginning. They get hurt in the meaning they attach to what happened. A man can look intense, speak softly, hold you close, and make one night feel bigger than it really is. And that is where confusion starts. Because what feels deep is not always real, and what feels powerful is not always lasting. Sometimes he crosses that line because it is easy, not because he is ready. Sometimes he reaches for your body while staying far away from your heart. Read that again. Because one moment can feel like love when it is only desire wearing a beautiful mask. And if you do not understand that early, you can spend weeks trying to decode silence, months trying to explain distance, and far too long defending a connection that was never built to hold your soul. Stay with me, because this can save you from emotional fog. Keep listening, because what happens after the moment matters more than the moment itself. That is where the truth starts talking. That is where the performance ends. That is where you find out if he values you or if he was only chasing a feeling he never planned to protect. If someone ever felt so close one night and so cold the next day, then this is for you. And by the time you finish this, you will never again confuse attention with intention, chemistry with character, or temporary closeness with something truly real. People often think intimacy tells the whole story, but it does not. The real meaning always depends on the man's intention, his maturity, and the truth inside his character. Many women read physical closeness as proof because the moment feels emotional, private, and deeply personal. It can feel like connection. It can feel like safety. It can feel like the beginning of something solid. But a feeling is not always a fact. A man can move toward you physically and still be nowhere near ready to move toward you emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. That is where the confusion begins. That is where mixed signals start dressing themselves up like love. And that is why you must watch what he shows you outside the intense moments, not only what he shows you inside them. Some men use closeness as the starting point because it asks the least from them. No deep honesty, no real planning, no long-term vision, just access, just comfort. Just a quick path into your private world without the responsibility of staying there with care. In that space, many things can hide. Insecurity can hide there. Fear can hide there. Selfishness can hide there. And sometimes the desire to receive without giving can hide there too. So do not only study how warm he is when the lights are low. Study who he becomes when the room is quiet, the day is ordinary, and there is nothing exciting left to gain. Some men enjoy closeness without offering consistency. They step into a tender space, enjoy the warmth of it, and then leave you holding questions they never meant to answer. That is not depth. That is convenience. That is someone benefiting from your openness without honoring the emotional weight that comes with it. A mature man thinks differently. He knows intimacy is never separate from respect. He understands that once he enters that space with you, he cannot act like nothing matters when the moment is over. He knows the after matters. He knows trust does not switch off when the excitement fades. He knows your heart does not suddenly go numb because the night has ended. And if he truly values you, his care continues after the spark, not only during it. He will not treat tenderness like a game and vanish when real life begins again. He will not be warm in private and cold when ordinary life returns. He will not act close when desire is present and distant when honesty is required. Let that settle in, because the truth of a man is often revealed after he already got what he wanted. That is when silence becomes louder. That is when effort becomes louder. That is when distance becomes louder. So ask yourself, does he check on you or disappear into himself? Does he care how you feel, or does he only care how the moment felt for him? Watch closely. This part tells the truth faster than sweet words ever will. Some men are passionate in private and absent in public. Some show interest when they want something, then go quiet the moment you need clarity. Some make the night feel meaningful, then make the next day feel empty. That is not love. That is temporary comfort. That is someone taking the easiest parts of connection while avoiding the responsibility that real connection requires. You deserve more than confusion dressed up as chemistry. You deserve more than guessing. You deserve better than a man who reaches for your body but refuses to show up for your life. A serious man will not leave you sitting in doubt for long. He will make his intention clear through steady action, clear words, and a presence that does not vanish when the easy part is over. if you always feel like you have to decode him, that already tells you something. A man who is serious does not hide behind passion. He communicates, he follows through. He makes it clear that you are not a temporary escape, not a late night comfort, not a convenient place to land when he feels lonely. He wants to know your mind, not just enjoy your attention. He wants to understand your heart, not just reach your body. He respects you even when intimacy is not part of the moment. He proves care in the simple places, in how he listens, in how he responds when you ask direct questions, in how he acts when life feels heavy and there is nothing glamorous happening. Stay with me, because this is where many people miss the real test. The real test is never just the spark. It is never just the late night words. It is never just the way he looks at you in one emotional moment. Anyone can act sweet for a few minutes. Anyone can say the right thing when desire is leading the conversation. But what matters is who he becomes on an ordinary day. Who is he when he has nothing to gain? Who is he when you need patience instead of passion? Who is he when there is no thrill to chase, no scene to perform, no reward waiting at the end? Watch that version. That version is usually the truth. Many women ignore the signs because the physical moment feels so strong. It feels close. It feels personal. It feels like it must mean something important. You may think closeness means he cares. You may think attention means intention. You may think passion means the bond is real. But heartbreak often begins in the space between what you felt and what he was truly prepared to offer. That is why you cannot judge a man by emotional intensity alone. You have to watch his character in normal moments. Watch how he speaks to you when there is no romance in the air. Watch how he handles your boundaries. Watch how he responds when you ask for clarity instead of comfort. Watch how he behaves when you disagree. Watch whether he brings peace or pressure. Watch whether he adds steadiness to your life or keeps you anxious and unsure. These details reveal more than any private moment ever will. Patterns do not flatter. Patterns tell the truth. Real care has rhythm. It is not random. It is not seasonal. It is not only present when he wants access. A man who truly values you keeps the same energy. He does not appear only when it benefits him. He appears because he sees your value even when there is nothing immediate for him to gain. That difference can protect your peace if you are willing to believe behavior over fantasy. You have every right to expect responsibility. You have every right to protect your peace. You have every right to choose a man who brings clarity instead of confusion. Value yourself enough to notice when his actions do not match the meaning you keep trying to give them. Value yourself enough to walk away from half effort. Value yourself enough to require honesty before closeness gets deeper. Because intimacy is not a shortcut to understanding someone's heart. A man's behavior outside the moment tells you far more about who he is and what he wants. Some men are taught directly or indirectly that closeness is a place where they can take without giving, enjoy without building, and receive connection without carrying responsibility. That mindset creates real emotional damage. It leaves women asking what changed when in truth nothing changed. He was never offering what you thought he was. His real intention appears after the excitement fades. In the quiet minutes after the truth begins to rise, does he still speak with warmth? Does he still look at you with care? Does he treat you like someone valuable or like someone he simply spent time with? Do not rush past those questions. Sit with them. Let them answer you honestly. Some men chase physical closeness because it helps them avoid the deeper work. It is easier for them to show desire than commitment, easier to be physically open than emotionally honest, easier to reach for your body than to learn your soul. That is why intimacy can never be your only measure of a man's intention. Desire can create the appearance of closeness. It can make a man seem more caring, more gentle, more connected than he really is. But the real test comes when he has nothing to gain, when there is no thrill pushing him, when there is no private moment carrying the conversation for him. A man who is not serious usually becomes easy to read over time. He is present when he wants you and distant when you want answers. He is charming in the moment and avoidant when real conversations begin. He keeps everything hidden, never letting the connection grow roots in everyday life. He enjoys the comfort of closeness, but offers no safety, no direction, and no real emotional support. He is not mysterious. He is convenient. And that truth only hurts when you keep trying to turn convenience into commitment. If this is touching a nerve, stay with me. Because understanding this can change the way you move forever. It can make you stronger, calmer, and harder to confuse. A man who respects you understands that intimacy without emotional responsibility is careless. He knows trust deserves protection. He knows your heart is not something to play with. He will not hide behind attraction. He will not let you carry all the emotional weight while he enjoys all the comfort. He will bring thought, intention, and honesty into the way he moves. The difference between a man who values you and a man who uses you is not what happens in one private moment. It is what happens when nothing physical is involved. Does he call you on regular days? Does he check on you because he cares, not because he wants something? Does he listen when you speak about your fears? Does he respect you even when emotions are high? Does he protect your dignity even during conflict? These things reveal character. These things show whether he wants a real bond or just a temporary escape. A man who values you emotionally will not leave you questioning your worth all the time. He will be clear because he knows silence creates insecurity. He will try to understand your world. He will keep showing up with steady effort because he understands that love is built through presence, not occasional affection. Many women stay attached to men who give just enough attention to keep hope alive, just enough warmth to keep the door open, just enough affection to make distance feel confusing instead of final. They excuse mixed signals because they want the connection to become a relationship. They explain away disrespect. They blame themselves for his inconsistency. They think maybe they need to be more patient, more understanding, more loving. But the truth is often simpler than the stories pain creates. A man who truly wants you will not keep placing you in situations where you doubt his intention. A man who values you will not act like asking for the basics is asking for too much. If he cannot give clarity, he is showing you that commitment is not what he wants to offer. That truth may sting, but it also sets you free. Your worth is not defined by who desires you. Your worth is shown by who respects you. A strong woman does not build her confidence on being wanted for a moment. She looks at actions. She watches patterns. She pays attention to how she feels around a man. Peace is often a sign of healthy love. Confusion is usually a sign that something is out of balance. If a man creates chaos, distance, and emotional fog, he may not be ready for the kind of relationship you deserve. And if he is not ready, no amount of hoping can carry both people to the same destination. You deserve someone who does not only show up in private. You deserve someone who invests in your growth, your peace, and your future. You deserve someone who stands beside you in public, speaks honestly in private, and supports you when life is heavy. You deserve someone who treats your trust like something sacred. You deserve effort. You deserve commitment. You deserve clarity. A man who is ready for you will not reduce the connection to passing moments. He will bring steadiness. He will bring honesty even when it is uncomfortable. He will care about your life beyond what he can receive from you. He will match his words with action. He will treat the relationship like something to build, not something to visit when it is convenient. So hold yourself to a higher standard. Do not settle for crumbs when your heart is asking for real nourishment. Do not let the excitement of one moment blind you to the truth of a pattern. Do not chase a man who only appears when it serves him. Your peace costs too much for that gamble. Keep watching because this next part matters. A lot of people assume intimacy automatically means a man feels something deep, but that belief creates pain when it replaces clear perception. A man can share a close moment with you and still not be ready for the emotional responsibility that should come with it. That is why you cannot let passion replace wisdom. The truth about a man appears in ordinary moments when there is no intensity to hide behind. That is where you see his intention. That is where you see maturity or the lack of it. Some men are raised to treat physical closeness as completely separate from emotional commitment. They see it as an experience, not a promise. They can enjoy affection without wanting to build anything real. And because the moment feels meaningful to you, you may assume it must hold the same weight for him. That is the trap. Trusting the feeling instead of studying the man. You have to pay attention outside the heat of attraction because desire can make almost anyone look more affectionate than they truly are. A man who is not serious will reveal it through inconsistency. He will come on strong when he wants attention, then go quiet when you want answers. He will speak with warmth when desire is present, then shut down when emotional honesty is required. He will make the moment feel like a bond, then treat you afterward like an option. Believe that pattern when it appears. It is telling you the truth before his mouth ever will. And sometimes his behavior is not about your lack, it is about his lack of readiness. But even if that is true, it still does not make him safe for your heart. Sometimes a man behaves this way because he fears vulnerability. Sometimes he fears commitment. Sometimes he fears the responsibility of having to truly show up once he has been let into your most tender spaces. So he offers the parts of himself that cost him the least. He gives attention in private but little support in real life. He gives affection in the moment but no direction after. He enjoys your company but does not plan a future. He likes your warmth but does not protect your heart. That is why you must watch his patterns, not his passion. A mature man understands the weight of intimacy. He knows it affects trust, expectation, and emotion. He knows closeness is not just an act. It is a doorway to deeper conversation, a doorway to greater vulnerability, a doorway to responsibility. And if he wants to walk through that door with you, he should be willing to stand there honestly when the lights are on and life becomes real again. A man who truly cares will not keep you in emotional fog. He will be intentional. He will ask how you feel. He will check on your well-being. He will respect your boundaries. He will bring peace, not drama. He will follow through on what he says. He will make sure his actions never force you to shrink yourself just to feel chosen. That is not too much to ask. That is what healthy care looks like. Do not settle for a connection that only lives in hidden places. Do not accept mixed signals and call it love. Do not let one powerful moment of closeness distract you from the lasting truth of his character. There comes a point where you must stop judging a man by the intensity of a moment and start judging him by the quality of his behavior. Many women give deep emotional meaning to something that for some men holds very little emotional weight. The moment feels powerful because you are sincere, present, and open. You feel the closeness deeply. But the mistake is assuming he feels the same without looking at the way he treats you once desire is no longer leading him. That is where discernment begins. That is where self-respect becomes your protection. A man's real truth shows up when he is not driven by desire. It shows up in simple conversations, in the way he handles conflict, in his effort, in his tone, in whether he is reliable or always slightly out of reach. Anyone can act loving for a few minutes. Consistency takes character. A man who is serious about you does not switch personalities after the moment ends. He does not go from affectionate to absent, warm to cold, present to missing. That kind of shift tells you almost everything you need to know. It reveals who he is when responsibility enters the room. It reveals what he wanted and what he never planned to carry. So do not ignore these signs just because part of you wants the closeness to prove the connection is real. Desire can imitate love. Passion can sound like sincerity. Affection can cover inconsistent intentions for a little while, but patterns always speak. His character is not defined by one emotional spike. It is defined by how he treats you across all the quiet days around it. And quiet days do not lie. A man who is not serious will avoid accountability. He will avoid deep conversations. He will avoid anything that demands real emotional maturity. He may enjoy your presence, but he will not work to keep it. He may speak sweetly in private, but he will not stand beside you with confidence in real life. He creates moments, but he does not build futures. And once you see that clearly, you stop calling it potential and start calling it what it is. A man who respects you sees closeness differently. He understands that it involves trust, vulnerability, and emotional exposure. He knows sharing that space with you carries weight. He knows it can shape your expectations, touch your hopes, and affect how safe you feel with him afterward. So once he enters that emotional space, he accepts responsibility for how he treats you next. A grown man does not run from that. He does not disappear. He does not go silent. He does not suddenly become hard to read. He remains steady. He treats you with care, kindness, and honesty because he knows your heart is not something to handle lightly. You can always tell when a man values your presence. He pays attention to your emotions. He checks on your comfort. He communicates instead of leaving you trapped in confusion. He does not treat one close moment like an isolated event. He sees it as part of a connection he wants to grow. He brings peace instead of mixed signals. He offers clarity instead of uncertainty. He acts like someone who wants to stay, not someone who wants a temporary escape. And if you are still listening, remember this line because it matters. Temporary attention should never trick you into accepting a permanent wound. Stop using emotional moments as proof of emotional investment when the daily pattern says otherwise. Your time is too valuable. Your peace is too precious. And your heart deserves someone whose actions match the meaning you naturally bring to love. You deserve someone who sees your worth clearly and treats it with care. You deserve someone who does not play with your emotions, someone who chooses you openly, consistently, and with confidence. You deserve someone who sees closeness as a privilege, not a casual right. You deserve someone who understands that intimacy without commitment can leave damage behind. You deserve someone who protects your trust instead of testing how much confusion you will tolerate. And when a man is truly ready for you, you will not have to decode every move. You will not have to chase him for clarity. You will not have to keep asking where you stand. He will show you through effort, through consistency, through honesty. He will move forward, not backward. He will communicate, not vanish. He will build something real, not just collect moments that feel good and mean little. His actions will match his words. His words will match his promises. And your value will never be measured by who desires you, only by who respects you enough to handle your heart with care. Protect your peace. Protect your standards. Protect your self-respect. If a man cannot offer consistency, he does not deserve closeness. If he cannot offer clarity, he does not deserve your vulnerability. If he cannot act right after the moment, then he is not the one for you. And that truth, once you accept it, becomes power. So the next time a moment feels intense, do not rush to give it a meaning it has not earned. Slow down. Watch. Listen. Notice what happens next. Notice whether his care has depth or whether it disappears with the thrill. Notice whether he makes room for your heart or only reaches for what is easy. Notice whether he shows up when life is quiet, when days are normal, when there is no spotlight, no tension, no seduction, no reward. Because that is where real intention lives. Not in one heated moment, but in repeated choices. Not in sweet words alone, but in stable actions. Not in what he takes, but in what he is willing to protect. A real man reveals his intention long after the feeling fades. He proves his character in the ways that matter. He does not just want access. He wants alignment. He does not just want the rush. He wants the responsibility too. He does not just enjoy your softness. He honors it. And until a man shows you that kind of steadiness, do not hand him the meaning of your heart. Let him earn that truth through time, through honesty, through presence, and through the kind of consistency that feels calm, clear, and safe. That is the love worth waiting for. That is the kind of love that does not leave you confused in the morning. And that is the kind of love that never asks you to betray your own peace just to keep someone close. If you remember anything from this, remember this. The moment may feel powerful, but the pattern is the truth.